Yesterday, Mount Kenya people met at Sagana, and the whole country held its breath. There were expectations that it would be a bombshell. That didn't happen. Everybody left Sagana happy. In fact, with love. People were happy, and there's no better measure than seeing every person, people from either side, Tanga and Kieleweke, both sides came out saying they had won. Both sides taking what Uhuru said and interpreting it suit them. That is wonderful. That shows that Uhuru succeeded. And indeed he did succeed. He succeeded to show the country that his people are united. That contrary to what people have been saying, Mount Kenya is one. Mount Kenya is one. And that going forward, especially to 2022, there will be one voice, a voice you cannot ignore. So what people were expecting that he will come and talk about BBI and ram it through their throats, nothing. He didn't bash BBI. He didn't force it on them. People thought he would force the handshake. He didn't. People thought he would maybe talk about Raila in terms of I'm selling him, nothing. Absolutely, the things people were expecting, he said absolutely nothing further roughly. In other words, it was a masterstroke from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, indicating indeed the son of High Excellency Mama Ngina Kenyatta has the blood of Jomo Kenyatta running in him, in his veins. It was quite a masterstroke because going forward, the Mount Kenya people, contrary to expectation, will be one. They have a big stake, and they are going to determine, using that power of numbers and unity, they are going to determine what happens in this country in future. I can have my own guess that it will be in their interest, perhaps, that they look at this BBI a lot more positively. Because only BBI can produce a situation in which they remain in power. And the only way Mount Kenya will remain in power if they work with Raila in a pact that perhaps gives them the Prime Minister while Raila takes the presidency. Because that is not going to be possible if you are dealing with William Samoei Ruto. And talking of William Samoei Ruto, what the president said about especially Kibera went contrary to what William Samoei Ruto and his people have been saying, indicating, in my thinking, that William Samoei Ruto should by now have concluded that he's not in the picture. By now. Because it's quite contrary to what he said. Actually, the president said there was peace during the Kibera by-election. Talking of which, I suspect what the president was doing, talking to his people in his native Gikuyu language, was to tell the people of Mount Kenya, you have a stake in this country. And if you think that stake is Uhuru Kenyatta's, you are wrong. If you think it is me who is interested in power in this country, you are wrong. Look at the metaphor of the woman the president talked about. He said there's a woman he knows whose business was destroyed in Kibera in 2007. Her business was equally destroyed in 2013. Ditto 2017. But that this time round, she wished the elections and the electioneering took longer. I want to invite people to look at that metaphor a lot more seriously. What the president is saying is simply this: my people of Mount Kenya, Forget about the simple things you are trying to fight over, who you can support and who you can't support. Think about yourself as a community, that even state power in terms of politics, being president or prime minister, may not be as important as the peace you need in this country to do business. That woman is used symbolically to show that the people of Mount Kenya are better off united, number one. They are better off fighting for peace, because it is through that, when you have a peaceful country, that people from Mount Kenya, who are the leading business people in this country, their business will thrive. So that was very, very serious. And I suspect he is telling them indirectly, if BBI is going to be what brings peace, support it. If BBI is what will ensure you have a stake in government, support it. Because if we do not change the constitution as people of Mount Kenya, and it is very difficult for us to offer ourselves for presidency, it will mean then we are forced to support somebody like Mdavadi or support somebody like Matiangi. Because like I said before, the only direct way you can enter politics at that level in 2022 is to support somebody like Raila, and that means BBI has to succeed to create a position for Uhuru, as he said, if he's given, is a sweet thing he will take. And therefore, Mount Kenya meeting yesterday means a lot, will determine many things to come. Mount Kenya meeting yesterday, 15th of November 2019, is an indicator of where we are going, and above all, in a master stroke, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has managed to bring the people together in a way that confirms what I've always said. The people of the Mount, when the right time comes, they will all face Mount Kenya. And looking at those images from there, looking at the leaders, especially those in the Tanga, you can tell they are already aware that unless you face Mount Kenya, my friend, you are finished. And yet we have 2 more years. I am now certain not only will Uhuru have his way through the BBI and the referendum, but that in 2022, he will succeed to determine who becomes president in this country. Mainly because by then, no leader from the mountain who will be away, whose eyes will be away from the mountain, will see the light of day. That nobody is going to survive in 2022 from the Mount Kenya region unless they are facing Mount Kenya. And yesterday was already an indicator that if you expect anything else, you'd certainly be wrong.